It's the pre-show, the show before the show. It's MMA Junkie Radio. I'm Gorgeous George. That's Goes. That's Dan. Danny's back east. We can't wait to hang out with you for the next couple hours, talking mixed martial arts, talking sexual harassment lawsuits, talking more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roy Moore. He also didn't become a senator. Is that what you meant?
I was in.
No, I'm just kidding. But that Roy Moore guy, he still won't concede.
All right.
Out in Alabama, it's painfully obvious he lost to Jones. I don't know his first name, but Jones defeated Moore. And Moore's the cowboy who has those allegations, all the way from a young lady that was 14 years old to grown women. And, boy, he's had a rough year. So, anyway, you want to bring that up? Go ahead. I mean, we'll scan over it, But basically, it's a mixed martial arts show, and we're going to talk mixed martial arts. This Saturday is UFC on Fox 26 with Robbie Lawler and Rafael Dos Anjos. Yesterday, we had Dos Anjos on the show. You should go back and check it out. If you missed any of it, all you have to do is scroll through Facebook, and you'll basically get through the previous show, and then scroll through about another 20 stories, and the previous show. All the shows are there on Facebook.com/official MMA Junkie. If that's too difficult for you, then go to YouTube.com/MMA Junkie Video. All right, who's in the hot seat now?
Well,
Coming up in a minute.
I haven't read these stories yet, but these are the headlines. This is USA Today. Donovan McNabb, Eric Davis suspended by ESPN as it investigates harassment allegations. Right next to that is Yahoo Sports. Marshall Falk, Donovan McNabb, Heath Evans named in sexual harassment.
So once again,
what is going on?
So once again, you are surrounded by females. You can't just say, meet me later for a drink, and then spray game at them then,
right.
And say, hey, what's going on, and are you single, I'm single, or whatever your game is. I don't know, whatever your game is. You can't just do that and then accept either the no or the yes and move on to, what are there, like 3 billion women on this planet? Instead, you got to paw someone's booty or press yourself on them or grab their hand and put it on your crotch. What fucking kind of game is that?
There's never a good way to come clean about that. It's not like you can be like Krusty the Clown and be like, hey kids, you heard about my new suit? My sexual harassment suit. Like, there's never an icebreaker.
Stand by.
Real show starting right now.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMA Junkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is gonna be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Gold. This is what we do and why we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMA Junkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communications stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMA Junkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMA Junkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMA Junkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
From the fight capital of the world inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Race and Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMA Junkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me as always is the devious and dastardly Goes, our ace co-host. Back east handling all the producing duties, it's Danny Otto. Sitting to my left, our latest edition, Dan Tom, the fight analyst. What's up, guys?
What up?
What's
What are
up?
you doing today?
Okay.
Today's Thursday. We're closer to the weekend.
Yeah, I had to wake up early today, dude. I had to do a 7 a.m. physical therapy session, and so I had to leave the house by 6:30. And because I moved slow, I basically woke up at 5:30. And man, Janelle took it to me once again.
Is she the one that you always get, or the?
She's the one I always get.
pops in?
One time I got another lady, and that other lady was a Swedish massage compared to Janelle. Janelle walks in and says, "Hi, George," with the sweetest voice. "How you doing?" "Good." I see her once a week, And she says, all right, why don't you start on that bicycle for me? So it's all in a friendly tone, breakfast, and...
You can get on a bike already?
No. Well, I have to get on the bike, and I cycle down and cycle back. I can't do a complete, what you call it, revolution, I guess. And I can only do that when my knee flexibility gets to 110 degrees. So last week I was at 92. So the goal was to get to 105. And so I do my revolutions. No matter how hard I try, my knee's so locked up it won't do it. So I do that, but the whole time I'm sitting there going, I'm going to get tortured in about 20 minutes. The only reason I say I can't wait for it is I just can't wait for it to end. And then at the end, she puts ice on me for 15 minutes, and I lay there, and it's like so comforting after actually getting tortured. I was telling her, it's like it turns into Guantanamo Bay. Do they torture people there? I imagine they do, right?
Well, that's what they were accused
They
of.
say they don't, but they do, right?
Are other people in the room?
Oh, yeah.
What is going on with that individual?
Well, I think
Hey,
everybody's
we're
in the
right there
same
with
boat. Everyone's in the same boat, so nobody's going, what a pussy, or why is he yelling? I mean, everyone's there because they've torn a labrum, or they've done something to their ankles or legs or fingers or elbows or whatever. The good thing about 7 a.m. is I'm one of only a couple, but dude, I'm holding back F-bombs and other curse words, just because I don't want to be disrespectful. But I'm telling you, it is absolute pain, and I don't know what to do other than I just pray for it to end. We got to 104 degrees today, so that was nice. It's an accomplishment. But as I was coming in for our earlier original programming show, I was praying there was a text that said, Danny tripped.
Jesus.
And he's not.
Thanks, you're a wonderful person.
Don't worry, George. He's
I'm
not
visualizing
seriously
that.
hurt. He just tripped. And so he's icing his knee, and he can't do that show. Go grab some breakfast, and we'll see you at 10 a.m. Pacific. And that unfortunately didn't come. Instead, it was, where are you? So I go, oh, shit. So we did our earlier show, and here we are. But, oh, man, I'm hurting. I'm tired.
Man, I was going to say bad massage stories have a whole new meaning after hearing this, because I can think of a bad massage story, and it's nothing near that. What about you, Goes? Do you have a bad massage story compared to...
No.
I don't want to know what that feels like, George.
Do you have a bad massage story?
Well, it was a little different of a bad massage. It was before the massage happened, before the classified as bad massage. Essentially, I was in China, and there was this massage parlor in the hotel room. It was like a window shopping, guys. There was clear windows. There was no funny business. You could actually see the people getting massaged, like right in the lobby. And but not gonna lie, there's some hot chicks doing the massages. So me and my buddy like, hey, let's sign up for one. This looks good. Fine establishment. We sign up, and they make me go like to a back room, grab a towel, grab the robe, the whole thing. And the back room looks sketchy. I'm like, what about the up front display rooms that look really nice with the nice girls in it? What about those? And I'm waiting there in my robe and this really dirty towel, and this half naked like fat Chinese guy comes in and starts yelling at me. He's just like, God, get on the table, take off your clothes, take off the robe now. And he starts I felt like the deer hunter scene, like meow meow. I was like ah, and then I ran out of there. So that was my bad. It wasn't painful. It wasn't painful. It was just more scary.
Venus? You just walked out with the towel?
Yeah, I think I changed in like the one of the rooms between.
Wait, so you got the massage?
No. He scared me off. He came off too strong. He came. For one, I'm expecting a beautiful girl.
And you got a guy.
Yeah. So
I got a guy once too. That was my first ever massage. It was. They go, who do you want, Terry or Ellen? And I go, ooh. I go, well, Ellen sounds more female. I'm thinking this. Ellen sounds more female than Terry. Terry could be either side, right?
Right. Yeah.
I go, I'll take Ellen. And what can we put you down for? And I picked Costanza's injury. I go, well, I got a sore hamstring. All right, we'll work on that. I show up on a Saturday, and loser. I had nothing to do. It was late night Saturday. And honestly, I wasn't thinking happy ending. I really wasn't. I was just thinking, I got to get one of these massages that everyone gets that makes them all feel better. I walk in, and some dude in good shape comes up and goes, hey, are you George? I'm Alan. And I go, oh, hey,
Alan. His name's Alan?
His name's Alan. And the lady that had taken the reservation, she did kind of have an accent. Now, I was thinking at that moment, going, that dumb bitch. She had an accent, and that's what put me in this pickle. And so I go, what's going on? I gave him the handshake, like, don't want to be here. And so he goes, all right, he goes, and I told him it was my first time, and yeah, go in the back. We're working that hamstring. I go, miraculously enough, the hamstring's no longer an issue. I told him we're just gonna stay above the equator. I'm more tight up here in the neck and the upper back, and the hamstring's good. You know. Okay, man. Whatever. He's a really cool
Massage
dude.
my scalp.
And so we get down there and we're doing it, and he actually turned out to be a really cool dude.
Do you talk to him?
Well, at first, just because I didn't know what the protocol was. Did we shut up? Does he prefer? Do I prefer? I didn't know. It was really my first time ever. And as we're there, we just kind of started talking like sports and chicks, and I could tell he was a dude that I could probably just. I go, hey man, I gotta confess something. I go, I thought you were gonna be Ellen, some chick. He starts laughing. He goes, the hamstring, huh? And I go, yeah, the miraculous cure, yeah. So we're laughing, and then he actually goes, dude, next time ask for Paulina. He goes, if that's what you want, you know. So he actually hooked me up after that. But he was really good. I mean, you know, upper back, neck, shoulders. I was fucking right as the mail when I was. It all worked out. But for that moment,
then Alan gave you a happy ending.
he did not do that. He did not do that. Yeah, that was one of that was one story that went bad. Yeah, there's a few others that went bad, but we don't have time to get into that.
I was just saying, you know how you can get even with your physical therapist? This is a trick I learned. When it's starting to hurt, you have every right to kind of like, you know, have you ever seen when people, primarily girls, do this? They spring up and they go, ooh, like that. Just grab her forearm and squeeze really hard.
Okay, here's why I can't.
Ooh, like that, and then you can get a good squeeze.
Here's why I can't, guys. Here's why I can't, because I'm on my stomach. And she grabs my leg like she's fucking Bret Hart and doing the sharpshooter or something. I don't know, because all I know is she puts her shin across my hamstrings and she just pulls back that way. So there's no way I can reach behind me. All I'm doing is trying. Okay, for one, I'm saying the cleanest version of fuck me, this fucking hurts. So I'm just going, oh, ow, you know. Once in a while I'll go, Janelle, that's her name, like, please, you know, I beg you. I think I've said that. Mercy, uncle, I've said it all. And as I'm laying there, I'm also realizing that tension, that's probably not good. So I'm like, just trying to relax and just let my body fall into jelly. But she's just like cranking it. And her motto's just, we decided it's 105. I'm going to get 105. And so there is no stopping her. As I say that, I preceded earlier by saying we got to 104. But I actually looked her in the eye and go, I'm begging you. You know, please, I will make up that percentage next week. But I'm begging you. Like, it was too much. And the worst thing about it, guys, is as all this bending's taking place, she's got this little, like, what is it, a protractor? Yeah, that's what measures angles. So she's doing it and holding onto my leg, and my leg's shaking. And then when she goes, okay, this is what we've done, dude, it ain't over then. Then the leg's got to, like, straighten, and that's just as painful. And it takes me about a minute to actually straighten the whole leg so that I can make it straight. And I'm laying there, and my eyes are red, and my whole face is red. My eyes are red. My eyes are watery. I'm grabbing my knee. I really look like a prisoner, like I'm getting tortured. If somebody were to walk in, they'd go, "What? Who did that to you?" You know, I mean, if they wouldn't know that it was physical therapy, they would honestly think that.
Just tell them you're David Carradine and you're into that.
Yeah, put a wooden spoon in your mouth, so you can bite down on that. That way you don't.
That I've thought about, something to clench or whatever, but it's brutal, man. I want to get to 110 because then I can cycle, and I think the whole key is the quadricep. I need to build that up. It's so tight, and I've had so much atrophy that the tendon in my knee, if you're watching the video, this is my knee, right? So I'm going to use my arm. Before the doctor sewed me up, he checked to see if it could withstand me folding my leg like this. All right? Except, you know, when you pull like a hurdler, when you do that type of stretch. So he actually tested it. My knee can do all this. The tendon's good. Otherwise, he wouldn't have sewn me up. So she knows that, he knows that, and of course now I know that, right? But when I can only get to this, I'm thinking that's going to tear again. Yeah. But she's like, no, we've tested it. It's all the scar tissue, it's all the tension, and it's all the other muscles that are fighting because they're all saying, wait a minute, you haven't done this in a long time. So the way to get around that, see, I can do the calf raises, things like that, but the quad is really tough to do anything with. And one thing that'll help me is the cycling, you know. So I can't wait to get to 110 degrees. I'm hopefully next week or the week after, because you want to get a little bit beyond 110 so that you can do it. And I think at that point, I'm going down the home stretch just like those horses. I think at that point it's just going to be time, and then I can go back to Extreme Couture and work over there versus going to see this lady. No offense to the lady, I love her, but for 10 minutes every Wednesday or Thursday, I hate her. I mean, she's she's the enemy.
Just stay with it so you can get that full extension, because you're saying this. I still don't have my full extension here on this arm from an arm bar. A really bad arm bends back and you bust your capsule open, and I didn't do all the exercises like I should have done, and this doesn't fully extend out. But yeah. Was it 3 months now since the injury?
The injury was September 8th. The surgery was September 14th.
Wow, December 14th. So 3 months in surgery, man.
3 months in surgery.
Today,
yeah.
Look at that.
First 2 weeks, it was like just sit there, don't do anything. But I guess it'd be about a solid 2 months of physical therapy, and we started with. I remember when the goal was, I think 15% or 20%, and then 30, and then 40. Like, I can't believe that we're this far. I can't believe that I actually sat on a plane to go to Virginia. The first leg, it was Goes and I in the front.
I don't want to talk about this.
And I stuck my leg out. I was front row, right?
Oh, sounds like a good setup.
They give me that privilege. But after that, I actually was able to sit in the back or in the middle or wherever, and I was actually able to tuck in my legs. I still have to kind of go through an awkward sitting motion. But now, granted, standing up is still difficult. Walking's difficult. It really is. It's really difficult. You didn't like that incident?
I didn't like either of them. Both of them were nightmares.
Front row? You didn't like front row?
Well.
Oh, because of the lady sneezing on you or spitting on you or something like that?
She coughed on me.
Dude, everybody spits on people spitting on you.
Just the whole thing in general with her was really bad. And then I think I kept smelling the toilet or whatever. I thought it was the toilet, but I think she may have peed.
Yeah, she was older.
So it was really rough, that one, and then the one on the way back was might even be
on the
worse.
way back, I had a young lady next to me, and she goes, "Would you switch with my boyfriend?" It was, we're gonna use A, B, and C, so 3 people, and then D, E, F. I was A, Goes was F. We both had windows. All right. She was B. Her boyfriend was E, so they both had middle seats. And then D and E were actually an older couple. So she wakes me up about an hour in, and she says, "Excuse me." She goes, "It's my birthday, and this is the first time I've flown, and I would really, really want to fly next to my boyfriend." And she goes, "Would you mind switching with him?" And I looked, and I go, "Well, I'm a bigger dude. I don't like middle seats. 2, I go, my knee's really, really messed up. I go, so I just really need to be comfortable." So, and she goes, "I'll even give you $20. And I go, "It's not the money." I go, "It's just, it takes me about 15 minutes to move over there. And I just really like the window and I want to rest." I was tired, man. That Washington trip or Virginia trip was exhausting. So I said, "But if you want," I go, "that's my brother." I go, "Maybe have your boyfriend ask him." Because he's done
like that.
He's done middle seats before.
Yeah, yes.
He's fucking 150 pounds. It's really no big deal where he sits, right? I'm 250, so I need my space. And so I just go, "Maybe ask him." She goes, "He did, but he didn't want to." And I go, "Really?" I go, I think I had even said, "He's a nice guy. He'll probably even do it." And she goes, "Oh, no, he did, and he didn't want to." And I go, "Really?" And then I go, And I go, "Hey," I go, "you don't want to switch, switch." And I was trying to tell her it's her birthday, first time flying, she's scared. He wasn't really having it, and I go, $20. And if you don't know Goes doesn't really get mad. He just he rolls with the punches. But this time he was actually mad that he had to switch, and so he switched, and he was mad. He didn't take the 20. He kind of waved her off like this. I thought at that point he should have just taken the 20, but he waved her off. He was mad, and had I known like he was not going to be that mad, I probably just would have said, "Sorry, he doesn't want to." But I really thought good old Goes would come through, And
I was furious because the flight to Virginia, we sat in I sat in the aisle seat, and he sat in the window, and it was front row, so we had some leg room.
Nice.
And then this old lady comes in. I'm talking like 95.
Did she fart on you too?
No, but so she says, "Excuse me, it's just easier for me. Can I sit in the aisle?" And her daughter is with her, and so I'm thinking, well, wouldn't you just want to sit with her since you're her daughter?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking I could just move back a couple rows or whatever, and still be able to get a window or an aisle. And she goes, no. And I thought that was weird, that she wouldn't want to sit with her mom. Then I figured out why. So I move into the middle seat. So now I'm in the middle seat. And this old lady sits down. And she keeps trying to talk to me, but I can't hear her because she speaks really low. And so she would say, like, I'm going to... And then she would just freeze. And so I would have to be stuck with this dumb face, like,
waiting,
waiting, and nothing's coming.
Ellipsis.
Finally, she like gave in after a few conversations. She goes, "I had a stroke." Oh. So I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so she just keeps wanting to talk to me, but she has a really bad cough. And every time she wants to talk, she goes like this with her finger or like that. And a few times it was, "Hey, can you go get my daughter?" Which I didn't really remember what she looked like. One time I had to go up and down the plane, just kind of looking around. Anyway, on one of those, she goes like this with her finger, like E.T. So I come in close, and she just goes all over my face, dude. And I'm like, oh, man. That was rough.
Did you guys have a magnet on you on this trip? Because it sounds like you had a crazy magnet on you.
Well, so after that flight, I vowed on the flight back I'm going to make up for it.
Right.
Now, by this time, we've virtually get no sleep on these trips. So we're exhausted. So I go, I'm getting that window. I'm just going to sleep. I don't care what happens. So I got my window. We were one of the first ones to get on. And sure enough, the plane's getting full, and there were only 2 seats left. One in between George and whoever. They had a couple on the aisles. So there were 2 middle seats left. And I'm thinking we may even get lucky because they're getting close to closing that door. Sure enough, this couple comes in, and I'm thinking, oh, man, they're going to ruin it. They have to sit right next to us. I got the guy, he got the girl. As the plane's taking off, I noticed that they keep looking at each other, and they're talking, and it's like enough already. Because, I mean, they're having like full-on conversations with each other, and there's people in between them. Like, come on, like, give it a rest, take a nap, do something. So I'm thinking, I already know what's going to happen. Eventually, one of these guys is going to ask, can you do the whole switcheroo? So purposely, I take my headphones, I put them on loud, and I tilt my head, and I try to fall asleep. I'm thinking, there's no way. They may ask, but they're not going to wake me up. If I have my headphones and I'm just sitting there like that, they may ask. Sure enough, I feel the tap on my shoulder, and I'm like, oh, man, I try and ignore it. Then he just does it too much. So now I'm starting to get mad because I think it's a little rude to actually wake someone up for that. So I take off my headphones. He goes, hey, man, he gave me the whole spiel. Only he didn't say it was the first flight. He said, we just haven't flown in a long time, and it's her birthday and this and that. And I'm thinking, that could be a story. I don't know, man. I mean, I would make up that story. So I made up my own lie, and I said, look, man, I paid extra so that I could get on here early so that I could get this window because I'm just super tired. Sorry, man, I'd love to help you out, but, it'd be stupid of me to pay extra and then give up my seat. Oh, okay, man, I understand. So I'm thinking, bet, I'm cool, I'm sleeping. And then sure enough, I get that tap again, and this time he goes like that and points over, and the girl's like this, all happy, and then George is behind going like this. And I'm trying to motion to him, like, I've already done my job. Like, I've been through this with him. I'm free.
Yeah.
And so then he's trying to give me the story, he's like, birthday and this and that. And I'm thinking, I know, but I've been through this. I don't want to sit in that middle seat again because I had the bad flight the first time. And they just keep laying it on. And I even told them no a second time. On one of them, I even gave the girl I blew it like, nope. Yeah, now I'm just trying to not be a dick, but like, I'm just done. And he caught me on one of these where they weren't looking. And he's going like, come on, and I'm thinking maybe there's a reason. Like maybe she told him, I don't know, I'll blow you when I get off the plane. I don't know what, but he's pushing it really hard. So I'm thinking maybe there's just something. So I go, all right, whatever. So we decide to change. You got to tell the couple in the aisle they got to move. We move. I go over there and I sit down. And she did try and offer me $20, but at that point I figure now it's bad karma if I take the $20. And it's only $20. It's good karma if I just give it to her. Yeah. So I told her, hey, enjoy your birthday. And I sat down. And then I just come to figure out that it was the same
You did say story. Enjoy your birthday?
Yeah, I said it's your birthday. Just enjoy it.
So you more mad at them?
I was mad because now I'm a bobsledder the whole flight home, and we're exhausted. So, yeah. And then this guy, I look over, he's sleeping. The guy next to me, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm just this dude the whole time. Like I'm in the movie Tron or something.
Well, are you? I was gonna say, are you more mad at them or are you more mad at George? Because I don't know if we talked about it on this show, but
the first one was I was mad at them. The second one I was mad at him, and I was a little mad at them because I thought it was rude for them to try and wake me up.
Because that's not just throwing you under the bus. I mean, George was Dennis Hopper from Speed. He's like, you can offload a hostage, sure. Get to the edge, presses the button, and they go right under. Like that's what sounded like he did to you. Like this was like
executive decision at one point.
Just take you off or take you out early.
Yeah. You know, I've just always figured that when you're thin, it just don't matter like where you sit. I just see thin people comfortable like in any seat. They're just like, oh yeah,
it's not
how
so
you doing?
bad.
You know, like. Right. But when you're fat, you're like, oh man, I need the elbow rest and this and the seatbelt. You know, it's
like if it's him and
even the
I would do it.
The stitch the folding table. You know, I mean everything's just so uncomfortable. But like thin people are just like, oh yeah, how you doing? This that, looking at the computers, doing this, whatever, stretching, doing yoga exercises.
Oh, when you're in the front too, your tray table doesn't come from in front of you. It's actually on the side, right? And you have to pull it out, and then it flips over. And I couldn't get the old lady to understand. Can you just move your arm for a second so that I could pull this out?
No.
So then I had to like hold my Coke. It was just fucking. I was just so mad from that one that I wanted to make it up on the second one. But normally he's right. It wouldn't be too bad of a problem, but I was just exhausted.
Who were the sexual deviants again?
Sexual deviants?
Huh?
What the?
Who were the bad people that have gotten accused? McNabb.
Mm.
How bad did he get it?
I lost that thing, but it was McNabb
and Eric Davis,
Eric Falk, Eric Davis. There was
Marshall Falk.
One. Yeah.
Wow.
I need to read the story though.
More like they're getting hammered, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody from Junkie Nation take a hit yet, or?
Oh, eventually.
That's just a matter of time.
We should
take a break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. We are going to have two guests today. Ricky Simone will be our guest in the first hour. Talk to him. He's headlining LFA tomorrow, actually. He'll be taking on Chico Camus in the main event. They're both 135-pounders, so we'll talk to him about that upcoming bout. It's for the vacant LFA title, and it's LFA 29, which starts tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern on Access TV. Channel 340 if you have DirecTV. In the second hour, we'll talk to Felice Herrig, coming off a big win at UFC 218 versus Courtney Casey. So stay close, and we'll be right back.
They can drink Mentos-flavored Diet Coke without their stomachs giving a single fuck. They are Gorgeous George and Goes. And this is MMA Junkie Radio.
Help SiriusXM in the fight to end hunger. Support Why Hunger's annual Hungerthon donation drive. Go to SiriusXM.com/Hungerthon and see items you can bid on now through today. Like guest DJing on SiriusXM's Elvis Radio at Graceland, plus a 2-night stay at Graceland Guest House. Or make a donation and receive a gift like a John Lennon Imagine scarf and more. Go to SiriusXM.com/Hungerthon for more details today. All right. You know, I just realized, Danny, I think I read yesterday's reads.
Yeah.
So that one's officially done.
I think that one's officially done yesterday.
If you want to help SiriusXM in the fight to end hunger, it's too late. We apologize, and I apologize for reading that. So, how about the fact that your favorite holiday music channels are back on SiriusXM? Check out contemporary holiday favorites on Holly, Channel 70, and holiday traditions on Channel 4. You can get our complete holiday lineup at SiriusXM.com/holiday. Also, get radio channel numbers for NFL, NBA, and NHL. I wanted to see if he'd crank up the music again. Send directly to your smart device. Go to SiriusXM.com/sports now. Then click Add to Calendar. You'll even get links to listen directly on the SiriusXM app. That SiriusXM app, it also houses the MMA Junkie Radio Show, commercial free and in HD quality. While you're at it, no, I'm just kidding.
I feel like Reggie Hammond would be walking through a bar right now.
Reggie Hammond? Oh, the country bar. It was called Tilly's, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So we are going to talk to Ricky Simone in a few minutes, but let's squeeze in a little bit of analyst work. All right, Dan, Tom, Glover Teixeira, Misha Serkinov. How did you see this bad boy going down?
Calling me out of my dog pick because I got the dog here, man. I like Misha Serkinov. He's a really sharp guy.
Plus 135 is Glover, and Serkinov minus 165. So
yeah,
you're going with
right.
Teixeira.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just think it's a styles matchup. Glover seems like a guy who's really, kind of stylistically based when I break him down. Like, for example, I thought Gustafsson might have been a bad matchup because of the footwork. He's mobile. He throws an uppercut, which is a shot Teixeira gets hit with. And he has, good counter wrestling. Whereas Serkinov obviously is a good grappler, but I think their grappling can cancel each other out. I think Teixeira is a good enough wrestler where he can stymie it, because Teixeira comes from a wrestling base, people forget. And striking-wise, I think he might be a bad matchup for Serkinov, even though Serkinov's a southpaw. I think this might be, even though at Glover's advanced age, his speed may be going, but his power, his wits, and his technique is still there. I think he gets it done.
Decision, or is there a finish you're predicting?
I actually ended up going with the finish in my breakdown. Second round, I think I called it, actually. I think he stymies the takedowns, gets his timing underneath him, and if he can get his timing, I think he finds that knockout in the second round and scores the upset.
All right. And who do you like in this fight, Goes? Who'd you take? This one's important, folks. Pay attention, because Goes and Simon Simano are a 1-2
neck
race here. I don't think the other guys can catch you guys unless you guys go 0-4.
Have a full night. Yeah. Because I think there's 2 cards left, right?
And you have a buffer of about 3 or 4 fights.
I have a buffer,
wins,
I want to say, on Dan it may be like 4 to 5 fights. On Simon it's only 1, though.
So it's basically a 2-horse race.
Yeah. All
right. Who'd you take in Glover Teixeira versus Misha Serkinov?
I took Serkinov, but it was the one fight where we've been trying to get our picks in faster now. So I just submitted it, and I thought later on I'll go back and look at it a little better. I like Glover. But when he loses, I've bet on him before where I just have this taste in my mouth where I go, man, why'd I do that? Like, he just didn't show up.
Yeah.
And I hate that feeling. And Serkinov doesn't really give me that. So I went with Serkinov, but the more and more I think about it, I kind of want to go Glover, but here's the other thing. There's a little strategy involved here with me and with Simon and I. We picked the same one, so I may feel okay with that. If I win, he wins. If I lose, we have one fight that we picked that were different, and I only have a 1-fight lead on him, and that's Ponzinibbio and Perry. So do I really want to create 2 possibilities for him to catch me? I don't know.
Okay. I just took Teixeira because what I've noticed is, and I said this during the break, he fights very well, and explosive fighters have, given him trouble. But he's he hasn't been one of those guys that's choked in big fights because he's beaten some former champions, some future Hall of Famers. And I think he just gets caught by explosive athletes with speed. If he gets going, I think there's like this point in the first round where if he gets going, like I just feel like all of a sudden he reaches a comfort stage and he's just a tough out. You know, I like the odds I'm getting here. Serkinov had a nice run, and he's got youth. I do like youth, but I still feel like I mean it's actually just a really tough fight to pick, honestly. But I'm going with him because I'm also getting the odds. I think he's going to get it done. I think he's got a lot of experience in a lot of these fights. And I also believe that because 205 is not too stacked and Jimmy Manuwa is out of the way, Glover, with a great performance, can maybe get a title shot. Jimmy Manuwa and Cormier had a little bit of that heat, but Volkan took all that in Anaheim. And now Jimmy's working off of a loss, but we'll see. We're going to have to really stretch for some matchups out here. OSP's kind of on a run. Shogun's won 3 in a row, right? So there's a few things that can buy us some time, but really, 205 collectively really needs to develop because Cormier's fighting age more than anything. Johnson retired. Jones is in trouble. It's a mess. All right, we'll talk about Perry and Ponzinibbio on the next break that we have. Right now, we got to get right to it. Ricky Simone is our next guest. He is 10-1 overall, and he'll be fighting Chico Camus. These are bantamweights here that'll be mixing it up at LFA 29, Camus versus Simon. Now, you can watch the fights tomorrow on Access TV. Starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with Ron Kruk and Pat Miletich on the call. It's 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific if you're on our time zone. And again, it's channel 340 if you have DirecTV like Goz and I. This is for the vacant bantamweight title. And he joins us now on MMA Junkie Radio. What's up, Ricky? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Thanks for doing the show. So by now, you've weighed in, right? Or are you about to weigh in?
No, I'm on waiting to weigh in. So I got about an hour and 23 minutes and I'll be on the scale.
All right. There you go. Well, you seem pretty relaxed, so it must have been a pretty comfortable weight cut for you.
Yeah, it's been the best. Easier.
Tell me the price, veteran name.
So it's a mixture of both, and yeah, and even with the next year, I'm sure you're going to hear a lot more about us.
Goz, what do you have for Ricky?
Ricky, you brought up something that I wanted to talk about, and that was short notice fights. When you have a situation like that and you get the victory, can something like that become addicting?
Not with me. I much prefer camp. I like to go into a fight knowing that, man, I did everything right, and I trained my ass off for the fight. I'm not looking for short victories where I'm taking chances. I like to be able to ride the fact that I did everything I could in training, and I know I'm ready for the fight. And sometimes in short fights you don't have that. That you stay ready at all times, but you could have done more if you had more time, so I much prefer having longer times train in actual camps. But, I'll tell you what, it wasn't bad. I had about 3 weeks for that Contender Series show. Had a rough cut against a tough guy, and I was so proud of myself, the way it turned out. And, so, yeah, I was definitely happy, and but yeah, on the flip side, I definitely rather have a camp.
We were there live for your fight at the Contender Series, and a lot of people aren't privy to stuff that happens afterwards, the conversations and all that. Can you maybe share what the brass told you about your fight and how it affected you?
I was disappointed in myself after the fight. It's hard not to be down because, we're in the cage and kind of knowing I didn't leave it all out there. And, but at the same time, there was a lot going through your head during the fight. But yeah, I talked on the show to Sean Shelby and just asked him, so what do you want me to do? I'm 10-1. I took his own short nose, of course I would. I can do that. He just told me to just stay ready. So I've been staying ready, and looked like I got the LFA call, and I got into camp. But yeah, I mean, those days they always said, it was supposed to be like what he saw and stay ready. But that can mean a number of things.
Ricky, from your amateur career to your prior experience in other organizations like Titan, you've had title fights before. Can you tell me, is there one thing in particular or something in particular that you've learned that you're going to take into this title fight?
I'm just a lot more relaxed. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself in that first fight. I was 7-0. I was pretty young in my career going into that title fight. But again, that was the best I ever felt in a fight. Even though it didn't last very long, I felt it was my first loss. But I definitely learned a lot, and I just more relaxed. I'm confident, more relaxed, and I'm ready to rock and roll tomorrow.
Awesome. And of those names that you were giving credit to as far as your home base there, anybody in particular coming up with you for this road game? Your normal coaches or any special situations for this event?
Yeah, I brought my number one dude, Ian Loveland. He's a corner me. He's been with me since before I turned pro. I credit him for a lot of skills. I've grown most of my striking game. So I'm always super confident whenever he's in my corner. So yeah, he's the one that's been with me the most. I've also been getting a lot of training under Father on the Sherner at basically so my jiu-jitsu game super tight. But yeah, I'm feeling confident, especially whenever I have Ian Loveland in my corner.
So, Ricky, we got to ask, only because you're fighting Chico Camus, are you going to channel your inner Razor Ramon, walk in with a toothpick in your mouth, look him in the eye right during the weigh-ins and say, Chico, listen, bad times don't last, bad guys do. Flick the toothpick at him?
I wish I was that cool. I wish I was that cool. No, I definitely stare him in his eyes, and I know it'll be an intense sale, but I don't know if I'm cool enough to pull something like that off.
All right. Well, you got 24 hours to pull it off because tomorrow's the actual weigh-in. Or tomorrow's the fight, excuse me. So you got just a few hours to pull it off. I don't know if they're going to have just the early weigh-ins and then anything else, but all you got to do is find yourself a toothpick and flick it. Maybe don't poke his eye out or nothing like that, but just flick it and say, meet at Chico. Meet at Chico. Bad times don't last forever. Bad guys do. All right, my man. We took enough of your time. We had a great time talking to you, though, and I'm going to lay out one more thing here.
All right.
Tomorrow, if you're feeling froggy, call into the show, and I'm going to tell you why. Because even though you should be in fight mode, I want to tell you that about 100 fighters have called in on the day of their fight just to get Junkie Radio Karma, and 80% of them have won. So a lot of them actually request to be on the show on the day of their fight. And this goes from anywhere from back in the WEC to the UFC when they've had a show during the week or whatever. So I'm extending the invite. If you want to call in tomorrow, it's just 2-3 minutes. Hey, what's up, guys? Blah, blah, blah. We'll ask you a question or two, and then boom, you're out. But that Junkie Radio Karma is 80%. I think last I checked, we were 56-14, and there's been some close calls. Let me tell you something. Split decisions where I know that Junkie Karma made a difference. So it's up to you, brother. If you're focused on the fight, we understand. But if you're loose like you are right now and you want to just, call in, then we'll get you the info for you to do the call in.
Yeah, heck yeah, you can't beat that. I like those odds, 80%.
Yeah.
I'll call in.
There you go. All right, my man. Thanks for today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, we'll see you.
All right.
Ricky Simone can be followed on Twitter at Ricky Simone 135. That's RICKYSIMON 135. Maybe hit him up with some Razor Ramon lines. Tag at MMA Junkie George, at The Goes, at Danny Otto, at Dan Tom MMA, and at MMA Junkie Radio. You can go like 280 characters now, so believe it or not, you can get all that in. All right, folks, we'll be right back after this break. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93.
pat down TSA agents because they don't know where those people have been, and because they can. They are Gorgeous George and Goes, and this is MMA Junkie Radio.
Get the radio channels for NFL, NBA, NHL games sent directly to your smart device. Go to SiriusXM.com/sportsnow, then click Add to Calendar. You'll even get links to directly listen on the SiriusXM app. All right, we got a few minutes here before we get to the end of the hour. If I don't know if I haven't refreshed, but no one's on hold, right, Danny?
Not anymore. Showtime was before the interview, but yeah, you know.
All right, I'll clear out VX if anybody wants to call. And tell me, guys, about Mike Perry and Santiago Ponzinibbio. Now, in this one, Ponzinibbio's minus 185, Mike Perry's 155. Both guys, I believe, are coming to strike. I mean, that's what I believe we'll see more of this fight be contested on the feet. It's just that Ponzinibbio, in my opinion, is more refined. But Perry's dangerous, you know what I mean? So I think that's why this line is the way it is. Perry's got a lot of love from a lot of people that feel like he's just polarizing. And I think a lot of people are just going to bet Perry. For the next 5 fights, whoever it is, they're just going to bet him. They like the guy. Win or lose, he's a ride or die type guy with him. But if you're really sharp and you analyze it, I mean, the longer this fight remains standing, the more, if his power isn't landing and that gas tank diminishes, the more Ponzinibbio's skills, I think, can expose him. So as much fun as it is to ride with Mike Perry, because barring what his corner said and, you know, a few of the aloof things that he does on social media, I kind of like him as part of, you know, the new crop of fighters out there. The wallet tells me Ponzinibbio is the better play. Now that said, you know, I like to pick me a parlay or two. So if I can horse around and do $5 or $10, you better believe Perry's on there because he's got one punch finishing power. He could put Ponzinibbio out, but if I'm giving you an honest breakdown and I had to do the gun to the head scenario, I'd have to pick Santiago Ponzinibbio. How about you guys?
I ended up going with the Pons on this one. I feel like when you look at Mike Perry, I think a lot of people just fall in love with the way he finishes fights sometimes, just that power, what he does afterwards, that menacing look.
Right.
I think people fall in love with that, and sometimes they forget some of the shots that he takes in fights as well. You're right. I think Ponzinibbio is just the more refined guy, so I felt more comfortable going with him.
Dan, Tom?
Man, this is we got to rename this event the Junkie Staff Picks main event now because with Goes' stakes. But I'm with you guys. I got Ponzinibbio here. I do like Mike Perry. I do. I think he's a fun character to follow, despite the things he mentioned. I honestly enjoy. I enjoy following him as a character and as a fighter. But yeah, you guys nailed it. You know, technically more refined. Ponzinibbio works at a faster pace. He's very mobile. He's a pressure fighter like Perry, but Ponzinibbio, he can also stick and move when he needs to. If he's facing a grappler or another guy that's going to come forward like Perry is, he has the ability to stick and move. And essentially, the thing to look out for in this fight, because it can go either way, like George said, that is a point. If you're looking for a live dog, you can't really hate on the Perry love because he does have that power. But anytime these guys clinch, guys, I'm going to be watching the fight like this with my hands above my head, peeking through just little spaces through my fingers, because both of these guys, I always say in my breakdown, striking off of the break is an attribute. These guys are probably the best guys in the division when it comes to striking off the break. Like, they can't help themselves at any opportunity. Anytime they break off the clinch, boom, we saw it with Jake Ellenberger versus Mike Perry and Ponzinibbio versus Gunnar Nelson for our most recent memory, but they do that almost every fight. So when they come together, this is going to be fireworks, guys, but I got Ponzinibbio.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play Perry, if you really have an extensive list of things that you can do, I think play him early on for the KO. But if you're going to play it, let's say you're playing this to be a decision, I just think that over 15 minutes, one guy is more skilled than the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The power is still going to be there, but it is a little bit of diminishing. You know, but regardless, it's going to be a great fight. I can't wait for it. And Mike Perry's name just pops. Like, seriously, in 2018, anytime there's an announcement and Mike Perry's in it, I've noticed the comments, social media, there's just a good buzz around the guy.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can continue working and becoming more refined. You know, limit getting hit. Just get better. You know, get better at the stand up. There's so much, you know, out there that you can do. I think he can be a really, really big star if he were to just continuously win.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of star power in him. I've seen the traffic reports, the analytics, and anytime there's a Mike Perry story, people are into it. Ponzinibbio, this is his chance to get some love off of Mike Perry's name, even though he's more credentialed and
higher ranked too. Even
higher ranked. He's got more tenure with the UFC, but he just hasn't gotten those matchups, you know. And finally, he started chirping a little bit. Eventually, I want to see Till and Ponzinibbio.
Oh yeah, it's a good fight.
But who knows? Well, maybe we're discounting Perry. Maybe he gets it done. I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. I can't wait to tune into it. Still got a few more fights to discuss and one more guest, and she'll immediately join us when we come back from our break here at the top of the hour. It's Felice Herrig, UFC strawweight, who is coming off a win at UFC 218 over Courtney Casey. So stay close. We'll be right back. All right, here we go. It's the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. Gorgeous George, the Goes, Dan, Tom, chilling with you guys. Danny Otto along for the ride, producing. That must be Foo Fighters, right?
Yep.
Would you ever decide on that? Are you going to go to that concert or not?
If I can. I mean, I'm hoping that, like...
How much are they axing for?
Initially, they wanted, I want to say almost $200 or something, a ticket. And so I'm hoping either they release more or they come down on that price.
Add a date, maybe?
Well, it's for New Year's Eve.
Oh.
At the
Cosmo,
Chelsea, too.
At the Chelsea.
Yeah.
So Duran's the night before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Foo Fighters. All right. Well, it's a big swing and a miss with Felice Herrig. So we're tracking her down. Be patient. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about Josh Emmett and Ricardo Lamas. Back to you, Dan, Tom. Lead off. Who do you like here? Lamas minus 270. Josh Emmett plus 220.
Yeah.
Oh, and to be clear, Teixeira? Well, he's Cirkunov, right?
No, he's Cirkunov.
Cirkunov, but
Teixeira, Cirkunov.
I may end up changing my pick.
There might be a curveball thrown.
All right. Ponzinibbio?
Pons.
Okay. Josh Emmett and Ricardo Lamas.
Yeah, I think the odds makers in public are pretty straight on about this. Lamas should be the favorite, even if Josh Emmett wasn't fighting on short notice, which he is. Apparently it's a week officially, but word is he was getting ready for that fight for about 3 weeks. But there's a lot to like about Emmett. A team alpha male guy, but don't let that kind of broad paintbrush get you. There's a lot to like about his skills as far as stand up. He has a wrestling base himself. The problem is, I think within the wrestling and grappling is where Lamas might not get enough credit, I don't think, and I think that's where he stands out in this match. Because, Emmett's shown can be able to be taken down before, and Lamas, we've seen Lamas fights. He can fight wherever this fight goes. So I do like Lamas there, but there's a lot to like about Emmett, too. I got Lamas by decision for what that's worth.
Yeah, and Lamas is pretty much good everywhere, honestly. Yeah. And he's a big game fighter, man.
Yes,
I know he's lost a couple tough big matchups. But that doesn't mean, to legends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that he hasn't won other big name matchups that he's had in his past. And we'll let Goes give his prediction in a sec. But we got our guest here. I am going towards Lamas though on this one. Felice Herrig is coming off a win over Courtney Casey, UFC 218. This is 4 in a row for Felice, and it's just an amazing run that she's on right now. Can't wait to see what 2018 looks like for her. But in 2017, she got 3 of those 4 wins from that win streak. And the first 2 were 2 young ladies that were undefeated. So she gave them their first O. And Courtney Casey had a lot of buzz coming off her win over Jessica Aguilar. She had won 3 of 4, including Aguilar and Marcos. So huge win for her in Detroit. She joins us now on MMA Junkie Radio. Hi, Felice. How you doing?
Hey, good. How are you? First of all, I got Lamas too.
Oh yeah.
He's a shy tomboy, so I like Lamas. Yeah.
What about Dos Anjos and Lawler? Who do you got there?
Oh, I think Lawler the brawler. I don't know. Like sometimes I don't really make educated guesses. I'm just kind of like, I go with like the first thing that pops in my head.
Right.
That's what I do with gambling too, and I usually win.
Okay, well that's why we're paying attention.
Big parlay.
So you got Lawler, you got Lamas. Let's just finish the card real fast. Perry and Ponzinibbio. Who do you like there?
No, I like Perry.
Perry. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at a 3-team parlay. That's Felice's 3-team parlay. Mike Perry, Ricardo Lamas, and Robbie Lawler. Take it to the bank, folks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if anybody had
parlay the last time I was in Vegas.
Yeah, I remember that.
$4,000.
What's that?
I won $4,000.
Oh, $4,000. I didn't know it was that much. That is crazy.
Yeah, I bet on the 3 underdogs. Gray Maynard, Gaethje, and Suarez.
That's right. Yeah, that was crazy, man. What'd you do with the $4,000? Did you buy anything cool? Did you do anything cool?
I actually did. I saved it until like recently before my fight because I realized that this last fight was my 50th fight, and not with MMA and kickboxing total, and 50 for anniversaries is gold. And there was this gold key from Tiffany's that I liked, and it was like $3,000, and I bought it.
Oh, wow.
And I justified it because it was a good, milestone for me. And I saved the money for like 5 or 6 months, and I didn't know what I wanted to get with it, and I just had it stored away in a jewelry box, all the cash, and I was like, well, I'm going to spend it on something dumb eventually because I'm allowed to.
All right. Well, Felice, let's talk about that fight out in Detroit against Courtney Casey. Huge win for you. The streak just keeps mounting. great year. Caps off a great year for you in 2017, where you went 3-0. How are you feeling right about now? And when do you want to even start thinking about 2018? We got some holidays, the New Year, but 2018 could be that pivotal run that a lot of fans want you to get, that you've earned.
I know, and 18 is my lucky number, so it was UFC 218 will be going into 2018. I don't know, right now, I love fighting in the beginning of December, especially, like, if I win, because I love holidays. Last year I was in training camp to fight Alexa Grasso during my holidays, so I didn't do anything. I started feeling sick. I didn't go home for Christmas Eve, for Christmas Day. I didn't really have a New Year, so I love being able to just not worry about anything and just, like, have fun and enjoy my holidays. I love Christmas, and so, I mean, a lot of it, too, is, it's always the sit and wait game, like, wait for, you have an idea of when you want to fight, but it usually doesn't work out that way anyways, so, I'll wait for the call, and until then, I'll be getting fat with gingerbread man and eggnog and pumpkin pie.
There you go. I know you had voiced some frustrations over, your promotion. Do you think things have changed ever since you've been vocal and since you've racked up a few wins since then?
It's hard to say. It really hasn't changed as much as I would have liked or would have hoped or kind of would expect. I think I would actually just expect a little more respect for being on a 4-fight win streak. I don't know. There's talks that I'm going to go do, like, a media run, like, in January, and, things have changed a little bit, but not a whole lot, and, so at this point, it just kind of is what it is. I'm over kind of, it's almost like I don't really want to talk that much anymore. I don't want to, I was vocal, and that happened, that was raw emotions, like I said, how I really was truly feeling, and, have things changed a whole lot? Not really significantly, not really. I mean, the sad part is like, even, like, ever since I joined the UFC, I've been on the main card every single fight, and then I was, going on a 3-fight win streak, and I'm on the prelims, so, and all those wins were dominant wins, too, so, I mean, I guess that says a little bit in itself.
Mm-hmm. Did any other fighters, either fellow strawweights or just, could be male fighters, female fighters outside your weight class, did anybody else ever tell you, like, hey, you know what, I'm kind of with you, sometimes it takes somebody being vocal, but it doesn't mean that others aren't feeling that way. Did anyone else kind of co-sign on what you were saying?
Oh, yeah, so many fighters have, and, I'm not going to throw them under the bus and talk vocally about that, because that's for them to do. But a lot of, like, so many fighters were, got behind me and were like, I've always felt like that, just were never brave enough to really vocalize it. And, I know even, Max Holloway, I feel like I can talk about, because I think he had been vocal about it, in the past. And look, I mean, he's like, probably, he's got to have a record for, like, the most, the longest win streak. And I don't even feel like as a champion he gets, sometimes as much, respect as he deserves. And then I know he was feeling that way for a really long time. And I don't know if, he feels things have changed for him. But at this point, it doesn't really matter for him, because he's the champ now. And he can start, making some demands. And the proof is, a lot of fighters say, like, they're fighting to do the talking, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm just here to keep winning fights. So whether the UFC recognizes it or not, like, the fans recognize it. People aren't stupid. Like, you can't deny, like, aside from Joanna, I'm the only strawweight who's ever gone on a 4-fight win streak. And that's a fact, So, like I said, it is what it is.
If they call you, well, I can see Max rubbed off there, too, with it is what it is. If Sean Shelby calls you, who's your matchmaker, by the way, Mick Maynard or Sean Shelby?
Mick Maynard is my matchmaker now.
So if he calls you and says, hey, you know what, I'm thinking you and Nina Ansaroff, you feeling that?
I don't think it makes much sense, I just beat Justine Kitch, who beat Nina. And at this point, I want to fight somebody in the top 10. It only makes, like, it doesn't really make sense for me to keep fighting girls who are are ranked below me. That's the whole point. Is if I want to keep working my way up to a title shot, then why am I gonna? What is like every time I fight, like I fight the most dangerous girls outside of the top 10. I think people would all agree. Like Nina Ansaroff is another really dangerous opponent.
Yeah.
But she's not in the top 10, so it's like even Courtney Casey was a super dangerous opponent. Justine Kitch, super dangerous, but how far is it really going to move me up the ladder?
So I'm thinking Tisha Torres maybe, because I think JJ and Rose are going to run it back. So you and Tisha, same fight card. You feeling that one?
I don't know. I really want to feel. For whatever reason, I really wanted to fight Carolina.
Hey, I'm down with that too.
That'd be fun.
Would be an exciting fight. I just think it'd be fun. I think stylistically, I really like that fight. She's ranked, above Tisha, and it kind of be a good gauge to where,
Yeah.
It'd be a good gauge for me,
There we go. Well, we got a name. Hey, one other thing here, and then I'll turn it over to the boys. Are you coming out to support Carla later this month, or are you chilling back home?
I am. I'm actually really excited. I was going to go get it because I'm going to hang out there for New Year's too. So I'm going out to go try to find a sparkly dress to wear. So yes, I will be out in Vegas for UFC 219 to support Carla.
Very cool. Well, hopefully you can stop by the studio and tell us what your parlays are for that card. All right, Goes. What do you have for Felice?
Felice, for the longest time at the top of the division, was Joanna, the girl that you brought up earlier. Now there's a shakeup. Rose is the champ. What are your thoughts on that? Do you like that? Or because I know a lot of fighters, they always look at it as, I want to be the one that take away the title from Joanna. Does it matter to you? Do you like that there's a shakeup?
I like that there's a shakeup. I think it's kind of like with the bantamweight division when Holly Holm beat Ronda Rousey. It just goes to show that everybody is beatable and exposed, can be exposed. And I feel that I really do believe that, and there's no disrespect to Rose, but I think stylistically, I think now we're going to have the belt turning around a bunch of times. Because I don't necessarily think that, if Rose fought Andrade, I don't necessarily think that's as good of a matchup with her, bully style. I don't think it's as good of a matchup for Rose. Rose does good with people who will kind of stay on the outside and tit for tat. But that's all hearsay. That's just my opinion. I'm not here to talk shit and be like, oh, this or that. But I really do feel that the belt could be mixed up. Could be mixed up here and there. And I think it gives hope for it opens up the division. It makes it exciting again. It's like, ooh, what's next? And Rose is the one that did. Rose is the one that did it. You can't take anything away from her. Of course, everybody would like to be the one who did this or who did that, but Rose is the one who did it. So you got to give props to Rose.
Absolutely.
For taking out Joanna. Not going to take anything away from her. And she earned her. She earned the title shot too. She worked her way up. She fought a lot of tough opponents and got a title shot. So she deserves that.
Felice, how often do you think about life after fighting? And I bring this up because the other night I was watching pro wrestling, and I can't remember the girl's name, but I remember thinking, man, Felice does all of this type of stuff. She's so charismatic, and she's so athletic. Has anybody ever approached you about that, about pro wrestling? And is that something that you would ever dabble in after your fighting career is over?
Yeah, people have talked about it. Oh, you'd be good at this. But people always say I would be good in things that involve, the entertainment industry. And that's always what I've wanted to do. And the thing is, I even had this because I fought in Detroit, and it's only a few hours away from Chicago, so last minute my coach and I decided instead of flying, we might as well just drive. And we drove, and we talk about, my future after fighting, and it kind of scares me, to be honest. When I was younger, all I wanted to do was fight, and I thought that, fighting would open the door to more things. And I guess that's sometimes why I do get frustrated with the UFC, is because I feel like if they did, put me out there more, maybe I could be more confident and secure that, you know, I would get opportunities that would maybe help me not have to worry about life after fighting. And it's, you know, it's kind of scary because sometimes it's like the right opportunity has to present itself. And so yeah, it's something that in the past, you know, year or so I've really thought about a lot and gotten kind of emotional over, you know.
You know, Felice.
I guess I get emotional a lot these days.
You know, speaking of being emotional, Felice, yeah, I don't know you as well as the guys do, but you know, following past interviews, you've spoken about it before, coming over, you know, maybe not personal issues or maybe not mental issues is the right word, but you've spoken about the improvements you've made, and it's come through. Not only have you beaten 2 underrated girls, but you experienced, you know, some crazy things in those fights. I mean, you know, you had Courtney Casey talking to you, flinging blood boogers as you said it. We know what happened in the match before that, but through all of this, I'm so amazed you stay so calm, cool, collected. You execute your game plan. Can you speak on that a bit? And are these changes? Does it extend outside of the cage, or you know, is this a package deal? These positive changes.
Yeah, it's just see, and this I've had anxiety for a really long time, and I never realized it's not necessarily performance anxiety, but when I get in the cage, I'm kind of like, my adrenaline's rushing, and I'm kind of like antsy, eager, like when I realized that, and I realized it from, okay, so during the time where I lost, then American Ninja Warrior contacted me to go on, and I had like 2 weeks notice, so I had never trained for American Ninja Warrior or anything like that. I just thought it would be just something fun, just different to do. And again, I went out there and I just kind of like was all anxious and antsy and just like tried to run through it as fast as I could, and I fell on the first obstacle. And everyone was like making fun of me, and like, you know, and that was like at a time where I was like super down, like people were like kicking me while I was down again, and I was just, when I went back on American Ninja Warrior before I fought Kylan Curran, it was right before I started my training camp. I was like, okay, I remember like when I broke my arm twice, the second time when I just focused on breathing, like it didn't hurt as much and I was more calm. So when I went back and I did American Ninja Warrior the second time, which I just wanted to do to redeem myself, I was really calm, and I made it an effort to just be calm and focus on my breathing. And then I ended up doing really well on it. And then it carried over to my fight. When I fought with Kylan, I was like, I just wanted to be calm and relax and focus on my breathing. And I went out there and I finished her in under 2 minutes. And then now before every fight, I just know that it's important to just stay calm and breathe. And it's so simple. And sometimes it's the stupid, simple little things that you're like, what? Like, that's so simple. And it really is that simple. Even, you know, I don't get caught up in, like, when I'm walking out and when I'm getting announced by Bruce Buffer, I don't get all, like, antsy or hyped up, and I don't jump around, and I don't high-five people as I'm walking out. I'm just very stoic, very stone-faced, and just trying to focus on the task ahead. And it also makes me less scared, less nervous. And just go in there, and it makes me, I just feel like I'm just going to go in there, and it's just another day at the gym. And that's really how I take every fight now. It's just another day at the gym. I'm not going to see anything I have never seen before, especially 50 fights in. Like, what's anybody really going to show me that I'm not prepared for?
Well, it's certainly coming across, Felice, and I myself might take your advice on breathing there. But one last question for me, just kind of a light one. You know, looking through your social media, it seems that you have an appreciation for food, and I mean that in the best of ways, from healthy food to junk food. I think I could identify with you there. Can you just tell me real quick, do you have, off the top of your head, a top 3 foods when you're done with the fight, you're back in Chicago? What's your go-to?
My first go-to is Giorgio's deep dish pizza. If you've ever been to Chicago, people say Illuminati's is the best, but there's only 2 locations for Giorgio's deep dish pizza. One's in Crystal Lake and one's in Barrington, Illinois, and it's the best. That's my number 1 go-to. My number 2 go-to is cannoli, and then number 3, I got to try this out. Before my fight, I pretty much just combined all, like, my favorite festive cheap foods, which is pumpkin pie, eggnog, and gingerbread. So I made, this is what I envisioned making. I made an eggnog pumpkin pie milkshake, and I dipped gingerbread in it and put some gingerbread crumbles in it.
That sounds good.
So,
yeah.
That's it.
Nice.
All right.
Really good. You have to try it. I'm trying to figure out a name for it. Felice's Festival or Felice's, I don't know. It's going to be Felice's something. Something like Felice Navidades.
Nice.
I like it. Hey, Felice, by the way, those blood boogers that were getting flicked, and then, you know, subsequent middle fingers.
Off now.
Did anybody get spoken to about that, or were you guys able to just write that off?
No. I was really, like, I was afraid I was going to get scolded. I didn't. Nobody said anything to me.
That works.
I was like, okay, I guess. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we're told when we're at Fox Sports 1 that, like, in the interview we're not allowed to say, like, the F-bomb or flick off the crowd or anything, but I guess they just realize that in the heat of the moment, you know, sometimes you just can't control those things, and you're not thinking about them. I know I wasn't.
Did you?
I think.
Go ahead.
But I don't know if people know how that actually really started.
Well, break it down for us.
I do. So, I don't know, there was a moment where I think we were against the cage, and I know I got her with, like, a really good right hand, and then we kind of broke off to the middle or whatever, and I kind of taunted her a little bit, like, I stuck my tongue out at her, and she was like, and then that's when she, like, I think that's when I, like, busted her nose open, and so she flicked, like, the bloody booger, like, at me, and she's like, all day, bitch, all day, and I was like, no, fuck you, and that was just crazy, and I kind of feel, like, stupid that, like, we just stood there in the middle yelling at each other instead of, like, punching each other, like, we're just so, like, animated. I'm, like, yelling at each other. I'm like, oh, my gosh, what an idiot I was.
I was a big fan of.
You know,
I was a big fan of the left hook, but you know what? Just your overall game is just coming along really, really nicely. You can tell you have a lot more confidence in your punches, and I know you come from a striking background, and then for a while you took us through a few years of just a slick submission game. But you know now it's all just coming together. Like you're distributing all your offense, whether it's on the ground, on the feet, very nicely.
Yeah, and I think, like, a lot of people maybe, you know, break down the fight, and Courtney's very long, and I think people don't realize, like, the way Courtney was fighting me, I anticipated that she was going to come straight forward a lot, because that's what she does in a lot of her fights, but, you know, I can adjust on the fly. But the thing is, she did have a longer reach on me, and she used it, and she almost, like, was just waiting for me to come in so she could, like, counter me, you know what I mean? So she could catch me coming in. So that's why I wouldn't say I was more tentative on the feet, but I had to be kind of, I didn't want to just keep walking into punches, you know, and that's why there wasn't, you know, maybe as much engagement. It was more of a, you know, I had to be kind of selective, but again, like, that was just kind of adjusting on the fly. Like, I thought, you know, she was going to come in more, and, you know, she didn't. But I don't really go in with, like, a set game plan, like, this is exactly what I'm going to do. You know, it's just, sometimes you just have to be in the moment, and I feel confident that I can adjust on the fly, you know?
Did you guys talk backstage?
Maybe. No, you know, I don't know where she is on it. Like, for me, I don't, like, what happened with us, you know, swearing at each other or whatever, like, in the heat of the moment, I feel like that's just what happens. Like, I don't have any ill will towards her. Like, I'm not mad at Courtney, but I don't know what her take is on it. You know, maybe she's mad, maybe she's pissed off, but for me, I personally don't care, because it wasn't really personal. Like, you're in there, you're punching each other in the face. Like, how personal can you really take things? Like, oh, she flicked me off, she said the F word at me. Well, yeah, you punched me in the face too, so get over it. I don't know. I don't know where she's at on it, but for me, like, I don't really care. I tried to, like, you know, be, you know, sportsmanlike with her, and she didn't really want to shake my hand or anything, so, I don't know
Okay.
where we're at with that.
Last thing from me. So you went with us to Joint Base Langley Eustis back in April, and it just so happens that we were back out there again, and we got to watch your fight with the troops. And right before you came on, we made the announcement that Felice was an alumni from our second trip to to Fort Eustis, where we were at that moment. And a few people were still, remember your trip. They basically have a turnover of every 6 months. There's new basic training, young men and women, but a few of them still remember you. And a lot of the officers that are there, like on longer stays, they definitely remember you. And it was really cool to look around the room, and everybody was chanting USA. Paul Felder went on a trip with us as well, and they were really rooting hard for you and Paul. And just want to let you know, man, it was really, really cool to see you in action after being with you at JBLE. To see you up on the screen, at JBLE, was really, really a cool moment.
I don't know if I told you, but ever since, oh my gosh, Officer Funkhauser, he gave me one of the, the challenge coins, what is it called, RMO, the round metal object.
Right.
He gave me his coin, and I bring it to every fight now, and I've won all of them. So
wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll have to let General Funkhauser know that.
Yeah, and I got a lot of coins that day, but I felt like, he's general. That was a really special one, and it's just kind of become a good luck charm.
Paul also took his coin to Detroit as well. He takes it throughout his whole training camp. And his is a coin that actually includes the dragon, and his nickname's the Irish Dragon. But he actually had his coin as well. So very cool to hear that from you.
Yeah, see, it's like we make, I get it. We go over there and all the, they make us feel like we're so special and like we have such an impact on their lives, but they have more of an impact on our lives than they really even know,
Yeah. All right. Well, Goes, you have that page open for a reason, or do you have anything to say to Felice before we end the interview? He's looking at pizzas or deep dish pizzas.
I was just looking at the pizza.
Oh,
okay. Talking about.
Okay.
I'm just a fact checker.
I wrote down Giorgio's too.
I know. I want to go. I've never been. George has been, but I've always wanted to go, and hopefully this year sometime I'll make it. I'll definitely stop here though.
Hopefully we'll see you in Vegas in a few weeks, Felice. You have some extra time.
Yeah, I will be there.
You come on.
Sure.
You come on down. We'll bring a deep dish pizza for all of us to enjoy here on the set.
Las Vegas doesn't have good deep dish pizza.
Oh,
Goes. You got something to say about that?
Yeah, that one stings because they have a pretty good place, but if you want to try Las Vegas pizza, we have a pretty good Las Vegas. I'm blood red mad right now. You finish this off, George.
Well, we'll bring a version of pizza that you might just like. It may not be deep dish Chicago style, but still, we'll bring you something.
Well, maybe I can bring. I don't know how long it takes them to thaw out, but they make Giorgio's makes like the frozen ones so I could travel with the frozen ones, and then you guys could heat it up in your oven and eat it later. It's the same thing.
That might work. All right. Well, listen, enjoy the holidays, enjoy Christmas, and we'll see you in a few weeks here in Vegas, hopefully. But again, congrats. Great 2017, and great fight over Courtney Casey. Hopefully 2018 is that Felice Herrig run for the title that we'd like to see, that we've been wanting to see.
It would be awesome.
All right. Thanks for the time. All right, you too. All right, bye-bye.
Dress for Vegas. All right, bye.
All right, we'll see you. That's Felice Herrig, folks. She can be followed on Twitter at Felice Herrig. Same goes for Instagram at Felice Herrig. She's very active on Instagram, so check it out. She just celebrated her third year in the UFC. And I was going to save some questions for her for maybe if she comes in studio, but for a long time she wanted to get there, and I've always wondered, has she been happy in these last 3 years as she was when she was like working her way towards the UFC? Because she's had a really, really interesting career. She's been at Invicta, Bellator. She's been on reality shows, and she's been everywhere. But like I said, maybe she'll be here in a few weeks in studio. All right, folks, we're going to take a break here. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM Rush 93. Stay close. We'll be right back. We'll tell you a little bit more about Dos Anjos and Lawler, and then we'll scan down. There's a few other good fights, some good nuggets on UFC on Fox 26 that we should probably cover as well. We'll be right back.
did my best to notice when the call came down the line.
East Coast doesn't
They're
hate
so
us.
fat they gave Dracula diabetes. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
Your favorite holiday music channels are back on SiriusXM. Check out contemporary holiday favorites on Holly, Channel 70. Holiday Traditions is Channel 4. You can get a complete holiday lineup at SiriusXM.com/holiday. Alright, if you want to call in, it's 866-522-2846. We'll be taking some calls, but right now we're going to continue listening to Human by The Killers.
That would have been a good read for Showtime to do.
I would have, huh?
Yeah.
We'll have to get him to do that one when he comes out.
Yeah.
I played this song a lot in Brazil. My buddy learned to hate it. He just not learned to hate it, but started to hate it.
I just don't
Can I say
understand.
something about The Killers?
Yeah, go ahead.
I loved The Killers' first album, the one that had Somebody Told Me. But ever since then, it's like I've just cared less and less about them. Like, this isn't a bad song, but that first album was great. I don't even know if it was their first album. The first album that I paid attention to from them, I thought that whole album was great.
They're iconic out here in Vegas.
Yeah.
'Cause that's where
That's
they're
'cause
from.
there.
So they're,
Yeah.
They can do no wrong.
Pretty much. Did I tell you that, what's his name? Brandon Flowers? He came out and sang with New Order. It was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah?
He sang 2 songs, and he did really, really well.
I always wanted to see them in concert, and I had a really good opportunity, thanks to Randy Boynton. But it was the same day that Trig fought Matt Serra, and I couldn't ditch my buddy.
Yep. All right, let's take some calls. We'll start off with Showtime in Tennessee. If you want to follow Showtime from Tennessee, it's 866-522-2846. What's up, Showtime? It's your time.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What up?
Not much, and you?
Nothing much, man. I was trying to get in, and I was going to message Goes and tell Felice I love her, man. But damn, I missed her.
How come you didn't do
I
it?
like
You want to, like, you just,
You just got cold feet
as
or
a
what?
fan, or you actually want to take her out and go on a date?
No, I mean, I love her. Like, love her. You know? Seriously.
So you would take her over Holly home in that hypothetical driving across country? You would take her in the passenger
Yeah.
seat over Holly?
But he actually chose Cyborg, remember?
Oh, he
Yeah.
chose Cyborg. That's right.
Yeah, I think Cyborg would be more fun. But I love Felice, man.
Felice would be fun, right? To go across country. I mean, she's nutty.
Yeah.
The thing about Felice
Yeah,
is
yeah, I mean,
she'd be super fun, but she's when her batteries run out, she just crashes. It's funny. It's like almost like a little kid, and then you watch her and she's just asleep, and then she won't wake up until the next day, and then she's recharged again, and then she goes at it again.
Yeah.
She goes
So what's on your mind, buddy?
Hey, guys, I was listening to you guys talking about the Teixeira fight with Circanov, man. I think a lot of people fail to realize, man, he actually had Ozdemir hurt. He just got a little bit too careless, man. I think that might have been a good lesson for him to learn, you know, of not to get so wild, because he hurt Ozdemir, then he rushed in and had his chin up, and he ended up getting clipped. Actually, he just got clipped kind of with a reactionary punch, you know, from Ozdemir. So he easily could have won that fight. He could have been, you know, those roles could have been reversed.
Yeah, he's a beast.
So
I mean, he really is.
Yeah. Now, check this out. This is what I noticed too about Glover. He normally beat guys that can't wrestle. This guy can wrestle. It's not going to be him tossing this guy around. And I like the young guy with the young legs, with the young chin. I just think he's going to find a way. And this is a big fight for him too. You know, it's kind of right now we're looking at it. The new guard is going to kind of push this old guard out a little bit. The old guys will beat up on each other, and then every now and then they'll beat up on a young cat. But a young, tough prospect like this, I can't see him losing the glove. I really just can't see it, man.
All right, so we'll put you down for Misha Cernikov. What about the other fights? Any other ones stand out at you? You got a 3-team parlay for us?
You know what? I really hadn't made my mind up a lot. I've been working a lot this week, man, and I hadn't really had a chance. I really think that I see Lawler winning this fight, man. I can't see RDA getting in a firefight with Robbie. That's right down Robbie's alley. I can't see him winning a firefight with Robbie. I think I'll pick Lawler in that fight. And everything else, I'm going to kind of
do my homework on the rest of the card. But those are my 2 picks for those 2 fights.
Where are you watching the fights?
Probably at home, man. I'm actually on the way home now. I'm in PA, man. I've been in this freaking snow, man. This was crazy.
You gonna stop in Bethlehem?
No, you know what? I didn't get a chance, man. I'm actually in PA right now. I'm not too far from him, but I need to get home because I need to try to pay a couple bills tomorrow before 5 o'clock. So I have to be in Atlanta tomorrow morning.
Pay him online, baby.
I normally hit him up when I come through.
Yeah, you don't pay your bills online nowadays?
Yeah, I do, but I got something I need to do. I need to actually go sign some paperwork, and I can't. That's nothing I can do. I got to actually sign it in person.
Gotcha. All right, buddy. Well, thanks for calling in. Always great to hear from you.
Okay.
All right, see ya. You know, he's not wrong. Sernikov really could be in that position that Ozdemir's in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't fall too far.
I was keeping an eye on Sernikov and Nikita Krylov. I think I called him Nikita Koloff back in the day. That's Al Capone, right? He wanted to move into FNG or something like that. I was really disappointed when they didn't sign him, but I just kept thinking these were 2 of the guys that could help usher in 205. Jones, you know, he's in and out of trouble. Alex, sometimes you just feel like he's into the game. Sometimes you feel like he's not in the game. But 205, man, that's that marquee division that the UFC counted on for so many years, and right now it's not its deepest. I won't call it its weakest because they have a great champion, but it's not its deepest. And maybe they're okay with that. I don't know. And, you know, heavyweight's not as deep as it was about a year ago either.
No.
But what's interesting is, like, the Blades Hunt matchup, you know, there's certain matchups that are kind of, like, making sense. Hopefully a few of those guys that are on suspension, I think they're going to come in waves, too, if they still have anything left in the tank. I'm talking more about Barnett. He's closer to, I think he's 40 or around that age. Rothwell's still young. Junior Dos Santos is still young. But, you know, that's one division that just kind of took a hit for other reasons than 205.
I hate to keep banging this drum, but I also got to hope that more guys like Eric Anders start coming through. These guys, these football players, these other athletes from other sports. I mean, it's something that we've talked about, but we are kind of seeing a little more of it, right? I mean, we're not crazy here. We're not just wishful thinking, right?
Right. Wrestlers, more football players. Basically, I think you're going to see a lot of people come over that would have been stars in other sports, but hopefully they gravitated to martial arts sooner rather than later. The thing is, you can't come too soon to mixed martial arts.
Yeah,
I believe, like, if you had a son or a daughter that you wanted to groom, now with all the studies for TBI, I mean, do you really want them boxing, that young? Who knows? People talk about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or wrestling, many reasons to get them through, high school and get them going there, and then at some point, level off and come over to mixed martial arts. But one thing's for sure, I think you don't want to get into the UFC past your 30. Whereas before it was okay, I feel like the pressure's on at that point, and you're only gonna have one run. Whereas if you come into the UFC in your earlier 20s, you could possibly go have a run, lose a couple, go have a run, lose still maybe have like longevity and get better off of your losses if you don't happen to be that special athlete that can just go and capture a world title. I point to Max Holloway, for example. He had 2 big losses. Everyone talks about the Conor loss, but he also had the wrestler Benavidez.
That was a split, though. A lot of people thought he won that fight if you go back and watch it.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead. You're right.
It was a loss.
Big name.
And, and then even before that, Poirier, and that's a guy that could have maybe checked out. You know what I mean? If he wasn't ready for it. Instead, he got better. And now look at him. Still peak age with a ton of confidence. 12 straight wins. I mean, woof. You know what I mean? Could you do that if you came over at 30? I don't know. So what I'm trying to say, Dan, is Eric Anders played collegiate football up until the age of 22. Not that I wouldn't mind seeing someone that maybe flames out and doesn't, the NFL's just not for them or whatever.
Right.
Flames out, maybe not the appropriate word, but just doesn't make it to the next level. What I'm wondering is, can we get that athlete involved in MMA even before they become a college athlete, so that we know they would have had those types of skills, but because of the popularity of our sport, they already train, at a younger age, and they're like, hey, as much fun as it is to hit someone on the field, I'm destined to be more of a mixed martial arts. Can we get them at 18 or 19? Who knows?
Yeah, a lot of that can kind of depend on the state too, and in colleges, I believe it gets tricky. Like for example, we see a lot of Michigan State wrestlers who were MMA fighters because Michigan, has that funny rule. We had that promoter on from Michigan where you can be an amateur with a 50-something record because they're actually paying the amateurs there. It's not as regulated, and hence you can actually have college athletes. Accruing, like you said, George, mixed martial arts experience while they're in school. So in case something didn't pan out, it's a relative jump for them. But yeah, that'd be nice to see.
Yeah. All right. Is it time for Danny Olkers, or what are we gonna do?
Yeah. It can be. We still have one more commercial too.
All right, Danny Olkers. Why don't you do MMA history today, and then we'll go to break after that.
Sounds good to me. So 4 years ago today, December 14th, 2013. Do you guys like to guess, or should I just...
I like to guess.
I like to guess, too.
Like to guess? All right. What kind of hint do you want for this one?
Can
I... I got one. They are... It's about two people, and they're friends of the show. Both of them.
So they fought each other?
Yes.
Two and the friends of the show. Oh, boy.
Shit. That threw me off.
I mean, we have a lot of friends of the show. That's a wide net. But
that means they're both in the same weight class.
What was the date?
December 14th, 2013.
2013. You better give us the weight class.
Flyweight.
Oh, Benavidez and Demetrius Johnson. They fought in Sacramento. That's right. I was there.
Oh, wow.
Probably my last road trip. It was in Sacramento, right?
I'm not sure. It says Demetrius Johnson makes his third title defense for his UFC flyweight title when he finishes Joseph Benavidez with a knockout in their rematch.
That was just like the C4, where there was the smoke, the sound, and then that whatever you call it, the impact, I guess. Same thing. That was an event that, what was it called again? Was it a Big Fox show? Danny Otto?
I don't know.
What was it?
It doesn't.
It doesn't say like Fox or Fight Night or nothing like that.
No, it just kind of says
Fight Night Otisville.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, regardless of what it was, that event was the only time I ever sat, we'll say ringside or octagon side, because USA Today and MMA Junkie, we have so many people that go that by the time the radio team gets there, we're usually in the back or in satellite seats. And that time, I was actually sitting third row of the media, and I was sitting next to Dave Schottler. So we were talking, bullshitting, and all of a sudden, that fight happened. And I remember Sacramento was just, they wanted a world title, a title belt exchange right there. A hometown guy, because Benavidez lived there for 10 years. And there was this anticipation that he might be able to get him. And then all of a sudden, when Demetrius hit him, just again, it was that impact of that blow, and then everybody's reaction, and then all of a sudden there was this eerie silence that I just remember, like, the eerie silence itself had an impact, had a noise to it. Nobody could believe it. Everybody was looking at each other, Not that no one thought Demetrius couldn't win the fight, because he obviously won the first one. He's a great fighter. But just that it happened so quick, and that's why when you talk to Benavidez, he feels like, hey, look, I lost, I get it, but I don't feel like I got to show everything I prepared for. You got me so quick, and it just stole the soul of the show, man. I think Castillo fought Barbosa. Believe Faber was on the card. It was all a pretty, really, really, really good night. They didn't win them all, but they had won a couple. I'm talking about Team Alpha Male, but that one I think they thought he was going to win that one, and he didn't. And man, we had a great night later on with the Junkies in Sacramento. So once he gave us the weight class, I knew what you were on to.
You know what else is like C4? Me, if I don't get to this restroom fast.
Oh wow, backdraft.
We're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. This is our last break, and we'll come back to close up shop. Stay close.
They are the stretch marks on the underbelly of the MMA community. But hey, stretch marks are the new tats. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, we're back. Not much time here left before the show ends. I'll thank Ricky Simone and Felice Herrig for their time. Simone came courtesy of LFA. Ryan Bevins hooking that one up. Brian Butler hooked up the Felice Herrig interview. Big fist bump to him. We'll definitely be back tomorrow with another show. We'll talk a little bit more about UFC on Fox 26. Maybe dabble with a little bit of the undercard. Let's finish up with our good friend from San Francisco, Muna. What's up, Muna? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, gentlemen?
What's up? Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Muna.
Doing well. Just wanted a quick point. This was, I believe, from just response to Goza's call from either yesterday or the day before, where when crazy stuff happens in MMA, how do you explain to the casual fan? And my 2 cents is, fuck it. Crazy stuff happens all the time in entertainment. You watch Iron Man 1 and you see that War Machine is played by Terrence Howard, and then all of a sudden in other movies he's played by Don Cheadle. Do you ask a movie expert, hey, explain this. Why is War Machine darker than he was before? No, shit happens. Or where you watch a sitcom like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and you see that, hey, the mom was dark-skinned in the first couple seasons, now she's light-skinned. She pulled a Sammy Sosa or a different actor. Stuff happens all the time.
Yeah.
You got, if I'm a basketball fan and I'm watching the Lakers back in the day, I'm like, oh, Shaq and Kobe, they look dominant. They should dominate for the next 5 years. And then I hear, wait a minute, they don't want to play together. I don't start questioning it. I'm like, you know what? Shit happens. Move on. And so goes, if your friend ever comes back to you and asks you, why did this stuff happen? Just tell them, hey, fucking shit happens. So anyways, have a good day, you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, you too, Muna. Great call there with Sammy Sosa. But you have an answer to that?
I guess I could do that.
What is your answer?
No, I could tell. What is Danny saying?
Danny, what are you saying?
I said it's money every single time. It's
money.
I thought
all the actors changed. No, it's all based on money.
I thought he didn't know his mic was on, and he kept saying funny.
No, I thought he kept saying like 90 or 30 or 60.
Yeah, me too.
No, I was saying money. Sorry.
All right. That was a good call by Muna. The Sammy Sosa line's classic.
Calls money.
All right. We are out of here, folks. So we'll see you all tomorrow with another edition of MMA Junkie Radio. For Dan and Danny and Goes, I'm George. Have a nice day. Go out there and be champions.